Hello everyone. So in today's session we are going to start with loops, or we also call it as iteration. In the previous session we had discussed branching concept, wherein we discussed how to take a decision and perform a particular task. For that we had used if else, nested if else ladder, and also we saw the concept of switch case. So there we were speaking about the decision. Now in this case, suppose we have to execute a particular block n number of times. I have to repeat a specific task a specific number of times. In that case, instead of writing the code those many number of times, we can give an instruction to the compiler that you perform this task 10 times or 20 times as per my requirement. So that is where we use the concept of loops. Here we are going to see the concept of while loop, do while loop, and for loop. One by one we will see these. So let's directly go ahead with the coding, and also we will parallelly see the syntaxes. So coming to the first one, that is the for loop. So if you observe the for loop, the basic syntax of for loop would be for, and first we have to specify the initialization followed by final condition, and then we need to provide increment or decrement, and then we have a block of statements. Now see, our requirement is to execute a task say 20 times. So initialization is will tell us where to start from. So here I will just write initialization will tell us where to start from. Next is the final condition. The final condition tells us when to stop, and the last one, that is the increment or decrement, that tells us how to reach from start to stop. So these are the three conditions we need to specify when going for the for loop. Let us take one example to understand this concept. This is just a concept, so I'll just comment it. Suppose I want to print hello. Hello world. And my requirement is to print this hello world say 10 times. So if I am using a for loop, see when you are saying 10 times, so obviously you will start counting from 1, and then one by one you will continue up to 10. So let me take one variable integer I, and let's take its initial value as 1. When to stop? So I will say I want to stop at 10. Then how to reach from 1 to 10? So here I will use the increment operator, plus plus, I plus plus. So let's use a pair of curly braces here. Now see, right now what is the value of I? It is 1. So 1 is smaller than 10. So we will use a less than condition over here. Less than condition, see this condition, the final condition needs to be true, then only the block will get executed. So we are specifying the condition that I is less than 10. So first time I value would be 1. Condition is true, execute the block. Then I plus plus, I becomes 2. 2 is less than 10, perform the block, and this will continue till I becomes 9. When I is 9 and it is less than 10, the block will get executed. When I becomes 10, 10 is smaller than 10, the condition becomes false and this block will not get executed. We want this block to get executed 10 times, so we need to make it true for 10. So we will have the condition as I is less than equal to 10. This makes the condition true for 10 times. So now this statement will get executed 10 times. So when I execute this, you will see the output coming up as 10. 10 times the hello world will be printed. Now, if my requirement is instead of just printing hello world, I want the output to be 1 dot hello world, 2 dot hello world. So dot I want here, so let me just put a dot here. First let's execute this. So every time you will see dot hello dot hello dot hello. Now before this I want 1 2 3. Now 1 2 3 is stored in this variable I. So here we will simply write I and let's use the concatenation operator. So now if you observe the output, it will be 1 dot hello, 2 dot hello, and so on. So I hope you have understood that whenever we want to execute a particular task, you need to bring these three things in your mind. First is from where you are going to start. That will be the initializations condition. Then when do you want to stop? That becomes the final condition, and how to reach from starting value to final value or the stop value. If I just change the values over here, let me take here as 10. I am starting from 10 and I want to continue till 1. So in this case, if you say I less than, right now the value of I is 10. So 10 is not smaller, rather it is greater than 1. So we will have a greater than equal to condition, and in place of increment we need to use decrement. So we have to reduce the value of I and reach to 1. So this is how the output will remain the same, but it is just that the concept is changing. So here we are starting from 10 and moving up to 1. So initialization, final condition, and then provide how to perform the how to reach from the starting value to the final value. So it looks more logical to start from 1 to 10. So I'll just make the corrections here, make the changes back. So we have starting from 1, continue up to 10. Now suppose we want to print the table of a number. So we ask the user to enter a number, and that number's table we want to print. So let's take some variable num here, and let me ask the user to enter the number. So here we are accepting the data number from the user. Let's say the user has entered 5. So I want the output as 5 into 5 is equal to 5. Sorry, 5 into 1 is equal to 5. 5 into 2 is 10, and so on. So now see, what I'm saying here is we want the output like this: 5 into 1 is equal to 5. In the next line we want 5 into 2 is equal to 10. Then we want 5 into 3 is equal to 15. Like this up to 10 times. So here see, 5. 5 is stored in which variable? It is stored in the variable num. So now I have to write the variable num here. Then we want multiplication operator. Then 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the I variable, and then equal to 5, 10, 15. That we are going to get by multiplying num with I. So now let's go inside the for loop. Here we are going to write console dot write line num. So num is going to print this 5. After this we want a multiplication operator. So let me use the multiplication operator, concatenate it with I. Then an equal to operator is needed. After that we want the product of num and I. So now let's execute this code. So if I enter 5 over here, you will see the output coming up like this. So here we get the table of 5. Now let's take another example. Suppose I want to find a sum of series, say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to some number, say n. So here we want to perform the addition how many times? N times. So instead of performing the addition manually like this, we can put it in a loop. We know that the loop is going to start from 1 and it is going to stop at n. And by writing plus plus, we can move from starting condition to the final condition. So here we will have a for loop which will simply have I equal to 1, I is less than equal to n, I plus plus. Now what has to be written inside the for loop? So if you observe this statement, now see, first we have to perform the sum of 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 sum will give us 3. So this 3 needs to be added with the next number, that is 3. So here 3 plus 3 will give us 6. 6 needs to be added with the next number in the series. And this is how it will continue. Every time we are finding the sum of the two numbers, this sum is being added with the next number. So this 6 is a summation of the previous numbers. So let me write 6 as the sum. This has to be added with the next number. Now what is the next number? First time it was 1, then it became 2, then it was 3, then it was 4. So it is something like I, and after finding the sum we are getting the new sum. So here the sum is equal to sum plus I. So if you observe the values of sum, I, sum, and we are speaking about the new sum, which is sum is equal to sum plus I. So when the I value is 1, assume the sum value is 0. So the new sum, which is the summation of 0 and 1, would be 1. Now I becomes 2. And now this 1 is going to be our sum. So here we'll get the result as 3. I is becoming 3. The new sum value is 3. This is going to become 6. I is becoming 4. Sum is 6. So here we get the value as 10. And this is how the process will continue. So what we have to write inside the loop would be sum is equal to sum plus I. So here I have written the code here. We have to ask the user to enter the number, accept the number from the user. The loop would be I is equal to 1, I less than equal to num, sum is equal to sum plus I. So now let's execute this. So if I enter the number as 10, you will see the result as 55. And to be more clear, let me just put this summation part, output part inside the for loop. So if you observe the output now, if I enter 10 here, so here you will observe sum is equal to 1, sum is equal to 3, 6, 10 and so on. So this is how we can find the sum of the series by using for loop. So we saw how to get the sum of the series. Now let us say I want to find the factorial of a number. So how to find the factorial of a number? Let's say it is 4 factorial. So 4 factorial is 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 into 1. Now just let me write it in a different way. Now I am writing it as 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So now compare this with this expression that we did just now. Here we have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, whereas in this case we have the multiplication symbol. So the only difference in these two expressions is of the sign. Here we are using addition symbol, here we are using the multiplication. So now the code needs to be changed a bit. Instead of writing plus, we have to perform the multiplication. Now in the previous case we took the initial value of sum as 0. But in this case if you take sum as 0, the product is going to become 0. So all that is needed here is, instead of writing sum equal to 0, we need to take the initial value as 1. So here we have the code. Now I have changed the name of the variables here. Instead of sum doesn't look logical when we are calculating the factorial. So let's use the name as fact. So here the variable fact has been initialized to 1. So we are asking the user to enter the number, and now the code you observe, fact is equal to fact into 1. So if I execute this block, if I want to calculate the factorial of 5, we will accept the data from the user and then we will get the resultant output. So let's enter the data as 5. So you can see the factorial of 5 is 120. So this is how we can calculate the factorial, which you can say it is almost on the lines of sum of the series. Now let's go ahead. So we have seen how to calculate the factorial power sum of series. Now suppose I want to calculate the power. So here we are writing 4 to the power 3. So 4 to the power 3 is basically 4 into 4 into 4. How many times? This is 3 times. So our loop should run how many times? 3 times. So the for loop is going to depend on the exponent that we are specifying. So after that, what has to be done inside the for loop? See, in the previous case, we were writing fact is equal to fact multiplied by I. Now I value is the variable which we are using in the for loop. Its value is going as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. But in this particular case, The value we don't want the value of I because we want it to be fixed. Now what is this data? This is the base to the power exponent. So suppose I am writing m to the power n. So we, instead of writing multiplicated by I, we have to write multiplication of m. Every time we have to keep multiplying with m. For example, now instead of using the variable fact, let me use some variable p. So p is equal to p into m if I am writing. How many times? N times, because the exponent is n over here. So taking our example 4 to the power 3, initial value of p is 1. So let me write here initial value into 4. So the new value of p would be 4. So again, new value is 4 multiplied by 4. Then the new value of p would be 16. So p equal to 16 multiplied by 4. So this was one time, two time, and this is thrice. So third time we will get the answer. So here we have the code for the same. Enter two numbers m and n. So the loop is going to run n times, and every time we are multiplying the variable with m. So now let's execute this. Here we are going to accept the values m and n from the user. So we will continue with the example that we have seen. 4 and 3 we are going to take. And the result that we are expecting is result should be 64. So here we are asking the user to enter the data, that is 4 and 3. So you can see the result is 64. Now let's move ahead with the loops. One of the very frequently asked questions in many of the interviews is, how will you get a specific pattern, the star pattern? So now let's go ahead with that. Let's say I want to print stars or the asterisk symbol 5 times. So again 5 times. So my loop is going to execute how many times? 5 times. And every time what is the task we are performing? The asterisk has to be printed. So now the simple code for the same would be, let's take some variable j equals 1 less than equal to 5, j plus plus, and you get the asterisk as the output. So here you can see 5 times the asterisk symbol has been printed. Now let us say my requirement is to print these stars itself 5 times. So here this task is being repeated 5 times. So what we have to do, this particular block needs to be executed 5 times. So assume this block to be 1 unit. So all we have to do is take another variable, say I. Now here we will write for I equals 1, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. Now when we write like this, let me first execute. Observe this part, that here I am writing console.write. I am not writing write line. Write line is always going to print from a new line. So here we are printing the data on the same line. So now if you observe the output, you will find all the asterisks will be coming on the same line, one by one. So you observe the output, all the asterisk symbols are coming in one line, which we don't want. We want that after printing the 5 asterisk, the next output should come on a new line. So all we have to do is use console.writeLine. This is to going to insert a new line character. So here you will see the output something like this. Now after this, let us say my requirement is something like this. On the first line I want a single star, then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. This is my requirement. So if I want only one asterisk symbol, I should write something like this. J equals 1, J is less than equal to 1. This is going to display only one star symbol. Next time, instead of writing 1, I will have to write 2 for getting 2 asterisk symbols. In the third line, I would require 3 stars, then 4, and then 5. Now something which is changing, instead of using a fixed value, let me write here I. So if you observe, the initial value of I is 1. Next iteration it is going to become 2, 3 and so on. So now if you observe the output, it would come something like this. Now, instead of printing the star symbol, if I write here I itself, so you observe the output like this, I will be 1, in the second loop it will be 2 and so on. And if you use the inner variable, that is j, the output is a little bit different, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Sometimes you are asked to print alphabets. So here, instead of printing ij, let me just write here, say char ch equal to, let's take a character variable a over here. So let me write ch. Then we will write ch plus plus. So now when you execute this, you will observe A, B, C, D, E, F. So this is again one of the questions that is asked in the interviews. How will you get this type of output? Sometimes they want you to every time start with A, B, C, D. So all we can do is, let's take the variable ch here, and inside the loop we will write ch equal to A. Every time we are initializing. So now if you observe the output, in every line you will find the output as A, A, B, A, B, C, because inside the loop we are performing the initialization. So observe the output here, A, A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, like this. Now we want a set of spaces coming up. Let us say we want some space coming up over here, and we want it to appear something like a pyramid. Instead of a straight triangle, we want a bit of pyramid kind of shape. So for that we have to get some spaces. So in this case, if you want spaces, then we need to use another for loop for j. We can use the j variable again. J is equal to, suppose I am starting with 5, j greater than equal to, sorry, j greater than equal to, let me write here I, j minus minus. And then I am writing console dot write, and let's print a space over here. So see, I value is 1, so initially I am going to get 5 spaces. Next time I value will become 2, so I will get 4 spaces and so on. So when you execute this, you will find some spaces are appearing here. So the triangle has now shifted a bit. And now after printing the particular character, just insert a space over here and see the output. You will see a kind of pyramid coming up here. So here we can see that you may observe a different set of patterns by using the for loop. So this was all about the for loop. Let's stop here for today.